You know, the resurrection really does change things for us. Have you looked at the relationship that people had with God in the Old Testament? I mean, it was good. It was the best thing going, in fact. But the book of Hebrews tells us that we have something greater, that we have something better, that under the New Testament we have a better covenant founded on better promises, and in fact, our relationship with God in general, our relationship with the Holy Spirit is better than what they enjoyed before. Think about it. The Old Testament heroes, those people that we revere and, well, some of us grew up reading stories about, people like Samson and David and Moses, some great people who followed God and honored God and walked with God. And yet, remember that the Holy Spirit came upon them and the Holy Spirit was with them for a time. But even David, a man after God's own heart, he knew his limits. He would say, God, please don't take your Holy Spirit from me. And yet, when we look at Peter and James and John and Paul and all the New Testament writers, they're not ever begging God to stay with them. They know that Christ is not just on them, but in them. Remember, before Pentecost, the disciples experienced the Holy Spirit, didn't they? But it says that Jesus breathed on them. Not that He indwelt them at that time, but that He breathed on them, the Holy Spirit. They had a special experience while walking planet Earth before Pentecost. But Pentecost was a big deal. It changed everything because for the first time, those men in that upper room, they were indwelt with the Spirit of God Himself. Christ was not on them, He was literally in them. And that's a big deal for us too. Do you see that your relationship with God, it's actually been set up to be better than anything that anyone in the Old Testament experienced? We don't just have the Holy Spirit on us temporarily, we have the Spirit in us and we're one with Him. He is in us and we are in Him, and that changes everything. So next time you think about those Old Testament heroes, wow, they had the best thing there was to offer. But remember, you've got something better, better promises, a better covenant, and you have the Holy Spirit living in you forever. Now that's something to really celebrate.